Hello and welcome to the Devlog, one of our stylized manga-style psychological horror game named The Remedial. Set in one of the Kendriya Vidyalayas, my school by the way, you play as a teacher appointed to take remedial exam on a rainy day on the fourth floor that was sealed for a decade due to some accident, let's say. I don't want to spoil too much. As you play the game, more lore gets revealed as to what happened and how are you connected to all of this. The game is being developed by me and my friend Nityam. We have made quite some small scale projects together, but were never able to finish something for Steam due to either overscoping or we just being a little too inexperienced. We generally made game for game jams only, but this time we first made the visual novel prototype to get the general direction and flow of things. We made it using RenPy and some AI generated images. Won't say it's a compulsory thing to do, but certainly helped us gain more confidence on the concept and the feasibility. For the first month of the development, I first made the 3D models. For this unique art style, I made very low poly assets and then textured the details onto them. I did all the texturing by myself using the pen tab. I just directly painted over the stuff, sketched on it. I looked into mangas for reference, obviously. Also, I would say the manga edits on YouTube were a great inspiration. Like from them only, I got the idea. Also, Junji Ito, the legendary Junji Ito, was of course one of the inspiration for this art style. Also, you might be thinking that some shader work is also there, but no, there's no shader work currently in the game. It's just the outlines are model like textured into the 3D model, so it gives a unique look. But right now there is no shader. We might add a shader to make it look more pleasing. But self-making all the assets and texturing had proven to be quite a challenge. It's very time consuming. So the 3D models all in the environment took a little over a month, I guess. I only made a staff room, a hallway, the classroom, and a washroom environment, all of which are kinda roughly a mix of the Japanese school images I could find on the internet and my own school's architecture as I remember it. As for the 3D models of characters, I just downloaded a low poly base model. I just downloaded a low poly base model and stencil paint the texture on top of it. I later turned the saturation down and played with the brightness and contrast till I was satisfied and just hit bake. Boom, it's done. Once the environment was done and the characters, it was time to import everything into Unity. One thing that I found was pretty clever was just directly importing the .blend file into the Unity directory and using it from there, as I can make any change in the blend file and it reflects real time into Unity. So that's a pretty cool thing. Well, one thing we thought before making a horror game was that the horror games are just walking simulators and the programming would be very easy, but it certainly was not the case. We struggled a lot in the programming part for sure. Even though Nityam had made a pretty good host base from the starting, like using right kind of inheritance, polymorphism techniques, but it still wasn't enough as we didn't actually make some things as scalable as we should have. The game's initial game design, by the way, like the first 10 minutes, are kind of very inspired from chill arts games where there is a mundane phase, everything is normal, but the dialogues and the characters are hinting towards something that's uncanny or some incident, and then the climax hits. Maybe there's a jump scare at the end, maybe there's not. Depends on what chill art games you are playing. But mostly the environment and ambience is what gives you the creeps instead of the jump scare itself. Following that, first in our game, you first play as a regular teacher that is basically doing his regular job, taking attendance, distributing question papers, cleaning whiteboard, writing stuff on whiteboard, etc. But things slowly take a wrong turn. We have thought the final game would also have things like infinite hallways, doors that take you to back to the past and the present constantly. You are stuck on the fourth floor constantly. Either you go up, you are still stuck on the fourth floor. Either you go down, you are still there. You have to explore, survive as you unveil the backstory of the incident and your connection. The story is a bit like mouthwash, to be honest, if you have played that, but I won't spoil too much right now. Well, once maybe 5 to 6 minute gameplay worth of mundane phase was complete, with a lot of bugs, by the way, and a little more of a month in development was gone. We had to pause for a week as we had to organize a game jam of our own in our university, sponsored by our alumni, the creator of Fears to Fathom, Mukul Negi, the legend himself. Yay, casual flex. The game jam went smoothly, and I honestly felt a bit left out seeing all the participants working so hard. Well, that's a weird feeling, I would say. But once that was all done, we were extremely motivated to work on the game, and the development restarted with even more high intensity. And after 2 months of development, the game's demo, or you could say the first starting 10 minutes of the gameplay, is almost ready. It has a couple of bugs, like the tap water doesn't actually have water flowing in it. The white chalk writes black ink on a white blackboard. It's very messy. The game currently doesn't do a very good job in explaining you the story right now, but it's a decent prototype that certainly might catch your eye if you are like interested in this art style. Well, here comes a bit of the sad part of this devlog. It's only like 5 months left for the on-campus internship season to start, and we have to lock in DS and competitive programming along with game dev, which is honestly proving out to be more difficult than we could have ever imagined. The game dev scene in India isn't as lucrative, let's say, as an SD engineer is. So we can't actually risk too much on this project right now. So the next devlog could be, well, pretty late if it ever comes out. I'll update the Steam page link when it's made in the description. Thank you so much for watching till the end and bearing with my broken ass English. Well, love you guys. Bye bye. Wait, how do I stop record?